back. Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana is set to present government's spending framework for the next 3 years tomorrow. How exactly is his budget speech likely to affect you and your pocket? Joining us now to discuss this is personal finance columnist Maya Fisher-French. And Maya, we will hear from the Finance Minister tomorrow. Why then should ordinary households know what is said in the budget speech?
Well, I think what's very important is for us to realize this budget is actually our budget. They always talk about the people's budget, but just think about it. Every single cent that government spends is our taxes. Personal tax, VAT, fuel levies, sin taxes, corporate taxes, that's our money. So we really do need to care how government's spending it. Are they getting the bang for the buck? Is there wasteful expenditure? But I think also within all of this, it's important to understand the constraints within which government works. So they collect money, but every year for a long time now, they've been spending more than they get in. And we all know as a households what happens when we do that. We start to take on more and more debt. So the debt burden's a big worry and should be a big worry for us. I mean, just to give you an idea, I think about 2018, the debt was sitting at about 2.7 trillion rand. Now it's sitting at about 4.3 trillion rand, about 2024, 5.5 trillion. So at the moment, government's spending 21 cents of every rand it collects from us just to service the interest alone on the debt. So it's important when we're looking at this budget and saying, oh, what do we want out of it? We have to balance our wants and what we can actually afford. So it's important for us to understand the context in which this budget will be addressed.
Absolutely. And any predictions on whether we will be paying more tax?
Tax is the big one, obviously. In some way, government needs to get money, but it's unlikely we'll see personal taxes increase. If you look at us relative to other countries in a similar economic development, we pay a lot more tax than many of those other countries. So personal taxes are probably at the top that they can possibly be. Possibly we'll see what we call in tax by inflation, so that they may not fully adjust the tax tables for inflationary increases. The other one, of course, every year we see is fuel levy increases and road accident fund increases. There have been a lot of calls for government not to increase this year because, of course, our fuel prices have been so high. I don't know if you've had to fill up recently. It shocked me.
Yeah.
But again, if they don't put on fuel levies, where are they going to get the money? So for me, the devil's going to be in the detail when it comes to tax. Where are they finding that extra money? And the other one I will really be watching very carefully is retirement reform because, there's been a lot of talk about early access to pension funds. National Treasury did issue a paper at the end of last year where it put out a proposal about a two-pot system where we can possibly access certain funds before retirement, but then it'll come with compulsory preservation. So that's definitely one I will be unpacking over the next few weeks.
Absolutely. Now, before I let you go, any other budget highlights that we should actually be watching out for tomorrow?
Well, probably, as I said, I'll be looking at the retirement reform one and the devil in the detail with tax. The other one that a lot of people have been talking about is basic income grant. The bottom line is South Africa is not in a position for a basic income grant at this stage, but there is talk about extending that 350 rand a month COVID relief loan. But that's going to cost us about 40 billion rand. So that 40 billion rand has to be found somewhere, either cutting budgets in other areas or obviously raising taxes. So those are some of the things. And I think, what I always do is I always feel sorry a little bit for National Treasury every year because all they can do is they can put down the numbers. The rest is in the hands of all the other government departments to deliver on these promises.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much. Personal finance columnist Maya Fisher-French.